Alvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. Well, all right, live stream take two. Hopefully my computer will not freeze up on me. That would be pretty lame, but I figured I'd start off on the right foot. Okay, well, Merry Christmas, everybody. I hope everyone's enjoying their December. I have a couple of thoughts for you today. But before I do, just wanted to remind you that I'm still giving away $1,000 in 8 days. The odds of winning are 1 in... looks like 1 in 11. So odds are still fantastic. Giving away $100 to 10 people. All you have to do is simply to subscribe to the free channel on cryptoinfluencers.com. All right, so yeah, let's look at Bitcoin. So a little while ago, I was talking and just thinking and kind of working through everything, and I think it was near the FTX crash. So that's this big downward move here. So we're over a month since that happened. And in this area, we were still kind of showing some weakness and starting to fall off a little bit. And I kind of realized that the wash rules for big institutions, well, I think technically it's for everybody, but especially large institutions that hold a lot of Bitcoin, they are going to want to make sure that all of their accounting and everything is really ship shape. And you have to, if you want to sell at a loss and take advantage of the loss that you are experiencing, the wash rules are that you have to wait 30 days. Like on day 31, you can rebuy back in. And we are now a full month. Let's see what 30 days ago from today. Yeah, 30 days ago, we were kind of at the bottom of our drop. It was the first day we had some sort of support. But any institutions that saw this big drop and thought, you know what, let's take the chance to sell off and we'll rebuy back in 30 days. I've been kind of eyeing mid-December for a little bit of an end-of-year pump because I think there's a lot of money that took the tax loss and they're going to rebuy back in near the end of the year. So I think that is sort of what we can expect. So with yesterday's move, which was really awesome, solid 3.36% on Bitcoin, gave us a touch on the 50, and it definitely established the bottom of our trend line here as support. So we've now got 4 touch points on the bottom of this trend line, which is pretty awesome. And the next move was we needed to hit the top of the channel. Well, we did that today, and now we've retreated. So what does that mean? That means that our channel is definitely intact, but there's a lot of volatility because of the FOMC meeting that happened. The announcement came out only 43 minutes ago. So let me see if you can, I'll put it on the 1-minute chart and let's see if you can name when the FOMC announcement came out. Yeah, exactly. Like 2 minutes before the announcement, crypto just fell off the edge of the world. 2 minutes later, the actual announcement came out. And the funny thing is it's in line with expectations. So everyone was mostly expecting, I think 75 or 80% chance it would be a 50% move. And it was 50%. So I don't know if anyone should have been disappointed or surprised by that, but I think anytime whales have a chance to throw markets around, they love to do it. So that's currently what we're doing. This is the 1 minute chart. We've had a nice oscillation, drop down pretty violently, and then now our chart structure is trying to figure out what to do from here. So anyway, not too worried. If I go back to the daily chart, we are right within striking distance of exiting the red zone. So the next thing that should happen is that now that we've touched the top of our channel, we are ready for a touch to the bottom of the channel. If the channel holds, our worst case is 17,274. That's very unlikely. What I think will happen is we might have a couple of days. I'm actually fully expecting to exit the red zone either today or tomorrow. That now that we've kind of touched the top of the channel, like that sort of rule is satisfied, and we'll probably get a couple of candles to kind of go sideways. And I'm expecting us to pull either back or kind of go a little bit sideways and try again. So the reason why I think this is that these moves, if you kind of look at the major moves, everything sort of moves in about a 30-day cycle. You can kind of see, like, if you look at the difference between tops, you can kind of see a rhythm that happens. And I'll give you sort of an example. So like the top of this to the top of this, about 35 days. From the top of this to the top of this, 27 days. So there's kind of like a, you can kind of see an ebb and a flow happening, and the average is roughly around 30 days or so. So I would say, if there was a bottom here, 30 days, I guess I need to give myself some more room here. We need to have some kind of a pullback to kind of balance everything off. Will it happen right away? I'm not entirely sure, but I think that it's likely that we have some kind of a consolidation to kind of gain strength and continue moving up. So anyway, we'll kind of see it, watch how it plays out. When a chart is this oversold and we're kind of at the bottom of the bear market, I think, eventually, whenever we exit the red zone for the last time, it usually moves pretty solidly. And so I feel like, we may actually see more upside than downside. So anyway, let's take a look at some other things. One piece of information to really keep an eye on and keep a watch out for is that our 200 is now so low that it is near we're almost getting to the midpoint of this consolidation, and we're getting down close to this. We're just at the top of this resistance here, and so as it continues to fall, this is when golden crosses start becoming more possible and things start looking even better. I still kind of feel like that we'll probably have one more movement to kind of establish some support before we really move. But I feel like we're doing okay as far as establishing a good bottom, finding strength off of that bottom, and heading towards a better place. So that is pretty good. Most of the market was was pretty much in the green all the way up until that announcement, and then things fell off. Looking at the shape of this, we still have 4 hours to go in the day, but this is certainly a very bearish candle. This would certainly look like a top candle. So we'll see how it actually plays out. But if we look at the pattern that we have produced, this is sort of the outcome that we were looking at last night. So with this close here, we were, almost every scenario is extremely bullish, especially a month from now to 2 months from now. The cases where we were a little bit flat, so a month from now, like looking at this particular scenario, this is showing, a consolidation. Like we had in 2016, we had a full 30-day consolidation, and then we moved up to a higher level. We did pull back, but then we stayed in that consolidation for another 30 days. So this is a pretty likely scenario as far as being, as far as this pattern matching. It really looks really, really tight. So you can see that 34 days from now, it was only up 1.59%. But then give it another 30 days and here we are. Well, technically 20. So the scenarios on the board are looking pretty nice. But then what does today's candle change for us? So I went ahead and updated this as if we were to close. And yeah, so if I put the exact price in right now, 17,813, and then update. Our 2016 scenario is still in play. So this is sort of where we are. So we could possibly be doing exactly this. We've had a selling climax, we've had a sideways consolidation, and now we're moving up to a higher consolidation. And this would be super healthy. We don't want to get too excited too fast. I have a feeling we will, because once there are so many eyes on Bitcoin that really, once the chart structure shows strength, it really will go. As long as there's not like an FTX or some kind of crazy manipulation happening. But I think most of the world is just waiting for this to happen. It's just waiting for Bitcoin to get going. For three full cycles now, the world has known about the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin. They've seen the patterns play out. Anyone that's remotely interested in charts and technical analysis has seen a million people posting this 4-year cycle and how things play out. And here we are at the bottom of this current cycle. And so there's not going to be a lot of sleepers once the chart starts showing strength. So we'll probably get to oversold too quickly, and then we'll have another situation. What I'm thinking will play out. Well, before I get onto that, let me just finish talking about this. You can see that our variance has really improved. So if we add today's candle and assume that it closes here, our variance is getting much, much tighter, which makes this a much more likely scenario. We're following this pattern very closely. And then October of 2015 is still on the table. We're still building up into an expected move to the upside. And this scenario comes in like 3 or 4 times, just at different points. And then this is 2019. So this is our worst case scenario. We could have seen a little bit of a falling off, sideways consolidation. The difference between these two patterns, though, is that we kind of have a double bottom right here. And we've come down from a higher point before hitting a double bottom. So this kind of shows that the momentum is it's likely that the bottom will break on a double bottom. We don't have a double bottom here. We could, if we pulled back down all the way to the bottom, I could see a scenario like this playing out, but I kind of feel like this is not a very good match. So the rest of the scenarios certainly look pretty promising. Looking pretty good. Okay, so this is what I was going to tell you. this is kind of my macro view of what I believe Bitcoin will do now that everyone is they've kind of have the 4-year cycle baked into their minds. So this 4-year cycle, we only kind of saw the wrapping up stage. The bear market kind of ended, and then we just only saw the bull market side of this move. And then we saw the full bear market here. So we got our full year of downside. We had a solid 6 months of consolidation before we started moving. But this was sort of the first time, and not many people were aware of the 4-year cycle. Like, there was a lot of people just getting in. This is 2013 through 2017. So this is where a lot of people really didn't watch the charts very close, and they weren't seeing how things were going. Well, once 2017 came along, everyone knew about this, this massive run here that happened 4 years ago. They knew that the halving happens every 4 years. And everyone kind of, the world got smart to the fact that, there is a 4-year cycle, and it really is impressive once we get going. And because of that, when the bear market happened, there were a lot more people ready for it. People had already experienced a bear market. They saw the market showing strength, and they knew that it was time to move. Well, Bitcoin moved too early. We kind of hit this bottom of the bear market, and then once the chart structure was in place, we just launched. Like, we just took off because everyone was watching it. There were tons of eyes on it, and we got to overbought very, very quickly, and we ended up almost with a second bear market because we had another year of downside. Let me see how long it was. From the absolute top of this fake out bull market to the absolute bottom, it was 259 days. So we're looking at about this is more than 2/3 of a year, a little less than 3/4 of a year. Pretty significant period of time. Like, those of us who lived through this, it was pretty grueling because we knew that we had already done the bear market. Like, we were already out of the bear market, and it was just long sideways consolidation, lots of unknown, lots of it was just kind of a weird time. We had this resistance here that we just couldn't break forever. And we watched this line for years. And then when we finally broke it, it was finally time to do the bull market. So I'm expecting something similar to play out. I'm expecting that the world will see that the bottom is in, and people will get in too fast. And we're here. Like, we're at the bottom of the bear market. We've done this a couple of times now. 1, 2, 3. And every time the market tries to throw a wrench at you and tries to make it a little bit different or a little bit weird, like where we had 2 blow-off tops and we did not have a blow-off top this time. Now, the market's always throwing something a little weird at you to kind of catch you off guard. But as long as you're, long as you're not overinvested and you're kind of looking at things in a reasonable way and being skeptical of tops and skeptical of bottoms, you can do okay. But yeah, so I'm just watching this. We're in a very defined downward channel here, and not only this channel, but there's also this falling wedge that we're in. So there's a lot of we're still in the downward portion of this, but the second we break out, like if we get above the midsection of this and start showing support above this resistance line here, or if we simply just break out of this declining channel here, even if we break out and come back down and find it a support, so we wouldn't be too far away from where we are in like a month from now, it would be unbelievably bullish. And I think the market would get behind it and start moving us too fast. Where would we likely move to? Probably the strongest. Some of these lines are from the daily, but on the weekly chart, this level is undeniable. About 32,000 is a pretty good number. I could see us even within 6 months moving up to at least 32,000. So it's we're coming along. We've got some challenges to overcome. Probably our biggest challenge is whether Bitcoin can break free from the global economic climate. That is probably the biggest unknown. That's one thing that Bitcoin has not experienced, is dealing with the challenges of a bear market. So with the S&P, I'm expecting this to be very ugly. I'm expecting it to fall. I know people got excited that we had, breached our line at the top and closed above the 200, but I just feel like it's not good. What's funny is I was actually bullish right down here. And especially on this day, it was really hard to read, but I was expecting a green day, and then we've climbed all the way out and we've moved up into here, and now there's a lot more sentiment that's positive, but I think that the S&P is ready to fall apart again. So if the S&P falls apart, will it drag Bitcoin with it? It's hard to say. When Bitcoin reacts so weird to the FOMC minutes, it's kind of like we're not quite our own market quite yet. We're not quite there. So that is the one thing that makes me a little bit nervous. But still, when the chart shows strength, it will just go. And I don't have much concern about that. The question is can we get the chart to show strength while the rest of the market's melting down? That's the big challenge. But we're watching it. We're watching it every day. We're not going to miss out on anything. All right, let's take a look here. Let's see. All right, I think we've pretty much gone through about everything I wanted to. The one thing I wanted to do is take just a minute and look at Ethereum because Ethereum is doing some interesting things. Ethereum is, just today, we did touch the 200-week moving average. So if I go to a weekly chart, you can see that we're starting to make a little bit of progress. What I'm watching to see is, will this line cause a problem for us at 1280? By the end of this week, I kind of want to see if this is in play because this 1280 was our resistance for the weekly close November 28th. So this week that just kind of happened, and then last week's close, this was definitely resistance from this point here. We are breaking above it right now. If we break above it, we're in good shape. And according to this channel, we should be touching the top of our we should be touching the top of this channel at some point soon. And that number is 1400, 1411 if we hit it next week. Otherwise, it could be as high as 1450 this week. But we're dealing with our 200-week moving average, and I can't tell you how good it would be to get above that. If we come up and hit it as resistance and start falling apart again, that would not be great. But we've got some good things in place. We do have a good solid support here. We have found support on it a couple of times. We're definitely in a downward channel, and I just really feel like there's a strong chance that we start moving out, especially if we really are starting to move out of the Bitcoin bear market. I think they'll kind of go hand in hand. The other thing that's interesting that's sort of playing out unusually, well, before I leave Ethereum, I just wanted to say that Ethereum's moving a little bit slower, and it's because we have a lot of major lines real close. It has some battling to do. The one thing that we do have on our side is that we did find really nice support off of the 20, and we've done it a couple of times while the 20 was increasing. So these two touches and then a lift off is really, really positive. But look at these lines. We've got the 50-day to try to battle through. We have the 200-week to battle through. We have the 100-day. We have a long-term resistance, and we have the 200. So all of these are in a really tight range. Normally, if I zoom out to any other range, you don't usually see them very close. Like you can see, maybe this range was the closest they've been in for quite a while. And the dollar figure on this range is about $180, $185. And you can see that every other range, they're really spread out. And we're finally in a really tight range again. I don't know if we're that tight, but let's just see. Yeah, we're in a $100 range. The difference between our 200 day, our 200-day, our 100-day, our 200-week, our 50-day moving average is literally $100. This is very, very, very tight. And so there's a lot that has to happen to get through here. I would expect a couple of oscillations to battle and touch some of these, reject, find support. It's kind of this is the war zone. But this is the war zone that pays off major dividends, because when all of the averages get really tight and we finally get above it, suddenly the 50 is ready to cross the 100, the 50 is ready to cross the 200, the 100 crosses the 200. All of your averages line up, and literally a month from now, we could be absolutely in green zone land. So these things could really, it's really promising. It's just a question of how much momentum do we have. We've pulled up off of this double bottom, and we're finally hitting the 50 for the first time. Do we need to retreat and find some support, or have we done that already? So that was kind of my question. When we consolidated in this range, we've been consolidating in a range from 1275 up to kind of a top range of, I'd say, about 1340. So in this range, we consolidated for a really long time. And part of that was battling the 200 week and finally deciding to lift off of it. When it all fell apart, we have been most recently consolidating in the bottom half of that range. So if we're looking at 1275 as the top of our range, you can see how we've been fighting the underside of the support that we had over here. So we have a really long-term situation where we have a long-term support that is flipped to long-term resistance. Well, today's move, where we've closed at 1320, is probably the most promising move that we have a breakout on our hands. That means if we were to scale out to a much longer, much larger one, I don't know if maybe on the weekly it shows that. I mean, it kind of does, right? Because we saw this flip from support to resistance. And if this becomes a breakout, this level may become support again. So if we can break out, we might actually come back and find it as support, and then we'll be ready to move out of our channel. So Ethereum has some things that really are quite fascinating. I mean, watching this kind of unfold is very, very interesting. I'm trying to, it's just fun to watch this play out day by day. Dougie, thanks for joining. Oh, I'm frozen. Oh man, dang it. Thanks for saying something. Oh man, that stinks. I've been reading the reviews. I'm using OBS, and apparently it just has an issue with the Macs with the new M1 Pro chip or M1, M2 chips. If you guys have any recommendations, I would really appreciate it, because I'm really not sure which streaming service would be better for that would actually work with the Mac. So I guess since you can't see any of the charts, it's kind of pointless for me to be showing you stuff. But yeah, in so many words, I've been seeing Ethereum moving from a place of support, and we've just been battling resistance for the last about a month or so. There we go. I'll just put my face on here. But yeah, I've been seeing Ethereum battling this level, and normally you would fall away from it, especially if you were battling for if you find a support and it flips to resistance and you've resisted it for almost 10 days like that, the next move should be down, but instead we got to break out to the upside. So that gives me a lot more confidence that, hey, maybe we're on our way out. Manish, thanks for commenting there. I know, I can't believe it. Someday I'm going to have a smooth stream. It'll be really nice. But yeah, so that's kind of the summary on Bitcoin, summary on Ethereum, summary on the S&P. The rest of the market is just really strange. That was the last thing I was going to show you guys, is that I'm looking at the total market cap. If I'm looking at the entire total market cap for the first time in like 30 days, about 35, 40 days, we finally retouched the 50 on the total market cap. So that's a big move. And so we've seen a pretty strong move on total market cap recently. But if you go to the total 3, where you take out Bitcoin and Ethereum, we are languishing. So that means alts are not keeping up with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that was kind of the most recent kind of unusual thing that's happening in the markets. Up until literally 2 or 3 days ago, when Ethereum would move, the alts would follow with twice as much strength. But we kind of had a sell-off across the board where we had a ton of, Bitcoin and Ethereum were really kind of flat, and most of the alts dropped by like 5%. And that day was kind of it kind of changed from that point. So that means somebody with a lot of money is consolidating to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and maybe they're trying to prop up their long-term holdings and kind of letting the rest of the market lay dormant. So the alts did drop a bit today. So they're showing more weakness than the two majors. So it might be an interesting time to try to make sure that your Bitcoin and Ethereum stacks are looking good. So, all right. Thanks for your comment, Jesse. What do I think about tectonic looks? Tectonic looks. I guess I'm not familiar with what that is. Maybe you can explain that. All right, Manish, let's see. Kind of joined a little bit late. Not sure if you use Elliott waves as well, but I kind of see a potential final wave down, maybe. It seems similar to one of your AI charts with the final dip. I guess I'm not sure what time frame. I do like Elliott waves under some circumstances. If a chart's being pretty strongly manipulated, it's hard to get that to play out really well. But I do think that waves happen in threes, and usually the last wave is the longest. And so let me just take a look. If you're looking at a shorter, if you're looking at the most recent move on Bitcoin, we'll just say from like the 21st of November, there is a move. I'd say that there's probably a wave that happened there, because we kind of came up to around 16,700 and then dropped back for support. We went up to kind of our flat area, dropped back a teeny bit, and we could be on the final leg, which means this most recent move up that we saw yesterday, this is probably that final leg if this is an Elliott wave. And then in that case, we would come back down and find support around 17,200 or something. But I'm going to kind of let the market play around. I feel like we're so oversold, and we've had such a really nice consolidation down here. I think we're in the middle of experiencing the answer to the FTX drop. When FTX dropped so fast, and then you have a consolidation, I think we'll get just as violent as a move to the upside. I'm really kind of conscious of our channel, though. I think we've definitely established a channel, If we break out the top of the channel, though, it'd be pretty interesting, because I think at that point people are like, our risk reward profile is so good right now. I could see a lot of large players thinking, well, what are we waiting for at this point? Plus, if they're buying in at the end of the year to capture their tax losses, it's time. I would expect a lot of strength between now and the end of the year. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at this. So yeah, I can't believe I can't show you anything on my screen. That's so dumb. All right. What's our percentage? The question is, how probable do you think that the scenario would be, like, percentage-wise? I guess I can't really put a percentage to it. I've been waiting for a little bit of if we can get kind of a stronger move, strong enough that if we do have a pullback, that we're still above or within our channel, we're probably going to see another move to the upside. And even if we kind of languished for a little bit, it would be super good, super healthy. All right, Dougie's asking, if we're going sideways for a period on Bitcoin, do you think alts will stay quiet or waken up? Will they wait for Ethereum, which waits for Bitcoin? Yeah. So usually the train cars go, Bitcoin's the engine. It starts moving everything. Ethereum gets all excited and tries to outpace at some level. And then alts, historically, alts have just really sucked until there was, like a specific alt season, which means that some monster, some FTX or Alameda or somebody is driving the entire alt market around. But in the most recent past, we've seen larger moves on the alts. Once Bitcoin moves, Ethereum moves twice as fast, and the alts move twice as fast as Ethereum. That's what makes this last few days a little bit unusual, to see alts kind of holding off. And so those of you on the Pro channel, that I've taken a pretty significant number of shorts on the alts. So I took a pretty good long on Ethereum today, just because I'm loving where we're at, and I think we're probably going to exit the red zone today, officially. And so with all of that, there's a lot of good reason to be a little bit heavier in Ethereum or Bitcoin, and I'm still a little bit cautious on the alts. Thing is, though, I would give it, the Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to drag the alts kicking and screaming. At the very least, they'll probably maintain percentage-wise. So if Bitcoin's up 3%, the alts will probably be up 3%. Historically, we would expect them to go much higher, but I think there's a little bit of pessimism in the market that I'm feeling. So give it a couple of weeks and we'll see if that changes. But for now, that's probably what I'm expecting. Manish says, yeah, how much lower can we go? Upside potential seems so much more than any more dips, if any. Thanks for the update. Awesome. Yeah, I kind of feel that same way. Like, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. If, just market psychology, if you're, if you're any kind of seasoned trader, you're going to be looking for the best risk and reward profile possible. If you're buying at the top, well, even if you're buying into something that's moving up all the time, it is risky. Even though day after day you're getting green candles and things are moving along and you're like, oh yeah, this train's just crunching along, it makes me nervous. I'm always, the more consistent upside we see, the more nervous I get. But when things drop, that's when I'm looking for opportunities. And when we've sold off for literally a year, and then we had an extra bonus of a black swan with FTX, dropping us down suddenly without any warning. Oh man, it just makes me want to start a hedge fund right now and start investing, because the risk reward is unbelievable. I mean, how much more could we go? Let's pretend like the the doomers, I like to call them doomers, people that think we're going to 10,000, we're at 17,000. And so let's say that the doomers have got it and we're totally going down 10,000 from here. Well, that's a 42% drop from here. Well, isn't that like a Tuesday afternoon in crypto? You know, dropping 40%. I mean, it's fairly devastating, but like we're down. How far are we down? I'm just gonna measure it. I know you can't see this, but we're currently down as of right now 73%. And so it's kind of like, what are the odds that we drop to 10,000? You know, maybe 40% drop would be pretty rough. But we've just watched our entire thing drop, 75%. What's another 10% from here? Because that's all you'd be losing again if you were in from the top. But then flip that to the other side. We're at, we're looking at roughly $18,000 Bitcoin today. What are the odds? How hard would it be to move us up 40%? I'll take our 17,900 right now times 1.4, 25,000. Does that sound just completely out of this world, unrealistic? To be honest, if we hit 25,000, we're on our way to 40, because the shape of the chart is going to be phenomenal if we get to that point. And I think we're closer to that number than we are to 10. There's a lot of money out there in the world, and I just feel like Bitcoin is a limited resource, and it doesn't take that much to hold it up. And especially when people that were willing to buy it at 60 and 70,000, especially people that have any kind of money and sold at a good time and now have more, you think that they're waiting around on the sidelines? I just don't think so. And if things dropped and gave them another opportunity, we're going to see another Michael Saylor, Bitcoin bond. He's going to raise another $1 billion to buy in again. And it just can't, with the number of eyes on this, the global reach Bitcoin has reached, it's just like getting down to 7,000 or 8,000 is just, I just don't even think it's possible at this point. Anybody that really knows what it is, and more people are, because if you look at the number of holders that have more than one Bitcoin, those numbers have never been higher. And so what does that tell you? That means that more people are used to Bitcoin. They know that they're in for ups and downs, but they're still holding. So the grassroots level of people that believe in Bitcoin is just growing. It doesn't matter what the price is doing. And so if people are getting smarter and they're aware of these cycles and things, timing wise, we're there. And so I'm just not on board with the scenario that there's a huge amount to be gained by going short or expecting, or just waiting, like, am I going to wait for a $10,000 Bitcoin? You might be waiting for the rest of your life. I'd rather have some in, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at. Well, all right. I guess we're running out of ability to show things and all of that, but things are looking good. For the bottom of the bear market, we're still here. We're still surviving. So we're doing better than most. I hope especially the guys that check in and are regulars. I hope you win the drawing that we're gonna do December. It'll be the 23rd, the last day to get involved in the giveaways. December 22nd at midnight, and then I'm working with MEXC. We'll figure out how to give out that $100 to everybody. But Merry Christmas, everybody. It's been good. Thanks for showing up to the live stream. It's fun for me to do this on a Wednesday and answer questions and see what you guys' opinions are. So good times. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.